probably the biggest token in maybe after Certic that is related and in cybersecurity, and we keep growing. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks for that. So I guess it's a good segue into kind of discussing Hacken, HAPI, disBalancer, and then just security and DeFi in general. And then we can open up the floor to Q&A from the audience. But yeah, I think it's a good approach would be to just start with Hacken. You know, how did Hacken start? And then correct me if I'm wrong, but the story behind HAPI is that it got hacked. So a hacker hacked the Hacken hackathon, and the project ended up being happy. Am I wrong?
No, you're
Some
right. Yes,
so
you're right.
so
Yeah.
so yeah. If you could start with Hacken and then move on to happy and then disbalancer, that'd be great.
Sure. So we come from cybersecurity field, and we are fully, engaged in love with crypto space. We are very big believers, and our main task is to build products for cybersecurity. So we started as a consulting company in this field, and then we understand that in order to scale, we need to work in the direction of the marketplace. There are too many niches, cybersecurity niches, that needs products, that needs blocks for users and companies protection. So by starting to think about the marketplace, we started to think about building a foundation where we are uniting not only our homemade products, but also products of talented individuals that are in our network. And this is how we started the first, we call it Grey Hat Hackers Hackathon, which we asked our community to submit the most craziest ideas how the crypto space can become more secured. And this hackathon website was attacked by one talented cybersecurity engineer that didn't want to fill in the hackathon participation documentation. He just, showed his project in his own way. So yeah, and this project is HAPI, and the idea of HAPI is very needed in the space, and it needs to be built as soon as possible. And yeah, this is our vision on how to build an ecosystem of cybersecurity products, and that is all united under one umbrella, under one token, under one tokenomics. This is all what we are focusing on right now.
Awesome. And oh yeah, Michael.
I think it's quite important to like. I think the reason why I felt like this whole area is super darn important. I think it's like something we discussed with Dyma before, and we talk about security. It doesn't sound like the most interesting thing out there. I think when you talk about protection, people are like, oh, you know what? I want the exciting stuff. But in actual fact, security in crypto is like damn crazy, right? So yeah, just pointing out to a 50 million hack um, on Binance Smart Chain under the project Uranium. It's quite scary, to be honest, to think about it, because yeah, Dima, you want to talk to us a little bit? I mean, this like I definitely talked with you about this before, but it's just because there's no sort of policing in this sort of space, right? This is the biggest issue where yeah, I think you can tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, so 2 days ago, the DeFi exchange Uranium Finance lost around $50 million in exploit. So yeah, it was in tokens, and the attacker took advantage of vulnerability that has been present in version 2 contracts since the exchange upgraded over a week ago. So from what I understand, what happened is like basically the exchange has updated the code, but they didn't run the audit for it, and that's why the attacker was able to hack the updated version. And this is how he this is the general reason, is because usually DeFi projects think, okay, I will get an auditor to audit once my code, I will get his stamp and put the label that everything is secure, people will believe, people will go invest some money, go and trade, and then I will start slowly updating the code and will not go to the auditor again because they are so damn expensive and they are always busy, and there is but money never sleeps. We need to work and not to wait for these boring auditors. So this is what happens, and this is why we need a tool where there is a live information on not just which projects are audited and which not, and what is the and what are the auditors of this project, but also the uh, version of the product that is deployed and is in operation. Is it fully 100% audited by a security auditor recently? Because time is also important, because there is more and more zero-day vulnerabilities that hackers keep finding in DeFi space, and you need to run security audits on existing projects, even though they were never updated. So there is a lot of missing blocks in crypto security infrastructure that are the reasons that the absence of these blocks are the main reasons that we have such huge hacks. Yeah, $50 million uranium. This is crazy. It's huge.
And it's just insane because it's just a very few lines of code, and this is a big payday for the hacker, right? I mean, I feel like as more and more money is placed into DeFi smart contracts, there's more and more opportunity for hackers to abuse code. And the scary thing about crypto, obviously, is that crypto is built on this code, right? Like the code is law. So if the hackers can exploit this, and we see this, like if you look at the uranium hack and what happened, right? So this hacker completely got away with just taking the $50 million. He used any swap to just transfer out of the Binance Smart Chain. So this way, the Binance guys can't try to cash them. So Binance can't even contact law enforcement to try to cash these guys. And then once on Ethereum blockchain, they sent that to Tornado Cash to mix that. So then it becomes completely washed, right? So now this hacker essentially got away with stealing $50 million. And there's very little law enforcement can do about it because now it's just completely kind of puffed into space, right? So I think DeFi is completely different from traditional finance, where in traditional finance, you can go to the bank and say, yo, freeze that account. This guy's a theft. There's an Interpol, warrant on this guy, or, freeze these accounts. And they can freeze, and, depending on the country and the jurisdiction, you can freeze layers of accounts too. If like you can track where this money goes, and you can freeze like multiple accounts that, this chain where this money is transferred to. But in crypto, it's not. And in fact, in traditional finance, if you send $50 million to a bank account, they'll ask you, where did this money come from? Hey, how did you get this? Provide some as proof. But in crypto, you don't have that, right? Crypto, you just like transfer that out, send that straight to some place. It's gone. So I feel like that there needs to be a lot more infrastructure there to prevent something like this from happening in the first place. Like this is such a big opportunity for hackers to attack people, that we need to have the defenders, the protectors, the auditors to secure the space up. I think that's kind of the essence here, right? Because there's no infrastructure to block these funds from moving. We need to have infrastructure to to prevent this from happening in the first place.
Yeah, all true. A lot of work for security auditors, to be honest. A lot of work to be done, not only by us but by other companies. That have skills to build, not only just to copy paste some farming and DEX's contracts. You know, there should be a very big, change of mentality of crypto people. That's if we don't invest enough in cybersecurity now, then heavily increasing this market cap of the total crypto is becoming too vulnerable for big hacks, and people have to start promoting cybersecurity more and more. There is no other choice.
So, Dyma, could you, for anyone in the audience that isn't that familiar with HAPI or disBalancer, would you mind explaining kind of how the products or technologies behind HAPI and disBalancer work and what makes them different and how they're contributing to cybersecurity in the context of cryptos?
Sure. So each of these products are serving one specific, are working on one specific problem, and all other projects that will join Hacking Foundation, there will be also similar vision that we are selecting the teams that are that are working on one security problem, and they are building a champions product that is the best on the market. So HAPI is working on the problem of very similar to what happens with uranium earlier today. So it immediately notifies all the DEXs that are working with HAPI that there was a hack, and these addresses are associated with this hack. And if the attacker will try to use your DeFi product, your DeFi DEX or whatever, to launder the stolen money, you have the ability to prevent it. So basically, it makes a hacker life very difficult, and for such big amounts as 50 million USD, it becomes very complicated to get this money laundered and to get some clean crypto and actually use it without huge risk of being cut. So we believe that this that the HAPI is not only that will not only rescue a lot of money of victims of cryptocurrency hacks, but it also will influence the mentality of attackers, so that they know that the risk of being cut is increasing substantially, and it is much more uh, risky for them to work on the black side of the crypto. And if when we talk about disBalancer is working on the problem
Dyma,
of
let me just wait 1 second. Let me just add to that, because like I feel like this provides a lot of value, because just to explain the route at which the hacker stole the money, the $50 million, they stole that, right? And then they moved that to something called Tornado Cash, right? So they moved it they moved it to two projects. One was AnySwap, and the other is to Tornado Cash. So if any of these two projects had HAPI, they will be able to stop these funds from ever entering that ecosystem. I think that's one thing to point out, right? So this is where, as soon as the hacker gets, moves those funds and they get flagged, that's what attracted me to HAPI in the first place. Because something you have to realize from the protocol perspective is they don't want to help these hackers move stolen funds, right? No one wants to help launder stolen money. And if you think about it from the end point, which is Tornado Cash, right? So Tornado Cash is a mixer, but what a mixer really cares about is like there's legitimate reasons for mixing coins, but the worst case scenario is that if you use a mixer, you don't want your funds being mixed with stolen money, right? You're essentially getting laundered money, right? No one wants that. No user wants that, and no user wants to be involved with that. So I feel like that's kind of important. Where in the future, if DeFi and other services want to be compliant and not laundering money, then they need to really deploy and implement something like HAPI to be able to identify any stolen funds and stop them immediately, right? I feel like that's kind of important. That's my 2 cents here.
Yeah, thank Mike. As usual, you're explaining much better than me. Um, yeah, so and the disbalancer is working on very easy to understand problem. Is the DOS resistance for small, medium, and large companies. So there is a commonly used technique by a hacker or by a competitor or by just enemy to harm someone else's business. So, for example, uh, when the cryptocurrency exchange is being attacked by a DDoS, by a botnet, if they don't have proper protection, they are losing huge amount of money. They are losing trust from the community, and they are basically um, losing the market share. So we know this problem from the inside because we are working with a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges, and they are constantly being under attack from the various botnets, and this especially happening during the weekends. So I'm expecting again, like Friday evening when security engineers are going for vacation, are going to, I mean, like for weekend, for to drink some beer, to spend some family time. Usually this is the time when hackers start to make a DDoS attacks on the exchanges, so that's the downtime is more.
But why do they want to do that? What's in it for the hackers? What do they have to gain?
So usually they are like three cases. Yeah, they got paid for by competitor. For example, in our part of the world, like cryptocurrency exchanges founders, they hate each other. Like literally, it's like so funny to see them sometimes. In public, in like private chats. Speaking bad things about each other. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they are doing some illegal stuff to each other, unfortunately. So this is the first case. Yeah. Second
So this is
case.
like the mafia, right? This is like the mafia is just like shutting down competitors. Like throwing rocks at their windows until the shops close.
Yeah, but it's like it's not only in our part of the world. So I know examples in everywhere. People are hiring hackers to attack competitors, and this is like the reason why it's happening because people don't have proper tools how to be protected, and they are not very educated from this point of view. Yes, because we are in well, in crypto we know the solutions like Cloudflare and whatever, but like 95% of the people they don't know how to be protected from DDoS. So it's like It's actually a huge market, and it's huge market from two sides. Yes, from competitors to do this stuff, and for companies to protect. Yeah, so yeah, mafia goes after mafia. Exactly, good comparison. Yeah, and this is so the DOS disbalancer is a product that will solve this problem, and on top of it, it also will have its own white botnet that will perform load testing to check the system resistance from the attacks. Very very needed products with a huge market niche, not only in crypto but also in traditional IT.
Yeah, I think this is such a big problem. I think I definitely felt it when during like a big Bitcoin crash. Like you go to Binance and it just doesn't work. You go to FTX and it's just like, oh, sorry, we lagged out, and you got like people literally saying, why can't I, sell? Why can't I buy? A billion people complaining. It's hilarious and very sad at the same time.
It's
Probably
an
more sad.
opportunity. We see it as an opportunity.
Think so. So I think what happens is like during these insane market times, I think hackers do try to DDoS these exchanges to try to keep people out of it. So then they can get then there's a financial incentive, right? So say if they can, the market's dropping, maybe they're either picking up coins for cheap or they want even more coins. They'll try to break the website, so then there's either more liquidations happening and there's just more flash crashes for the currency. So it's like there's a big financial incentive in play, especially in crypto, for this type of attack to happen. So yet again, I feel like it's only gonna these problems are only gonna grow in time because as crypto becomes bigger and bigger, the incentives just become larger.
I can tell you the other thing, how these hackers are working. So imagine you are preparing your IDO or whatever, like preparing your token generation event, and so many token generation events right now, like happening every day, and you forgot to properly set up your anti-DDoS protection measures. And at the most important moment of your, I don't know, maybe career or whatever business, you started to be under attack by a random guy who just puts down all the websites, all the infrastructure, just 10 minutes before the start of sale. And then you are panicking, you are very nervous, and then he appears in your Telegram chat and saying, "Okay, I will stop the attack if you pay me 1 BTC." And you are trying to raise, I don't know, like $1 million. And of course, you will say, "Okay, okay, I will do whatever you want, but please stop your attack." And you pay 1 BTC. I know such cases. Unfortunately, they are quite common right now in the space.
So what in your experience, Dima and Michael, have you seen this season that's been the most common kind of hack?
Um,
So I mean, it's all relates to denial of service, right? So I mean, there's two. So we're kind of discussing two different products. So HAPI would be to prevent hackers from attacking smart contracts, and disbalancer protects people from like denial of service attacks. Basically, servers being overloaded, right? So the situation that I definitely see most common is during a cryptocurrency crash, the exchanges get targeted all the time. And I think Dima is right also about during an ICO, uh, project websites get completely obliterated over time. I think these are two. How about Dima for you?
yes, yes. No, like absolutely correct. Yeah. So we are there is a lot of different ways. How the hackers. The most popular right now, I think it's sniper bots. I would say there are a lot of like there is a special class of I would say, DeFi hackers, Uniswap hackers, whatever you want to call them, who make a lot of money by um, pumping the token price of various newly listed tokens on Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and then dumping on the community. And I think this one is one of the most profitable right now. So like everywhere you have money in crypto space, everywhere you have risks and everywhere you have hackers. So the more money you have, the more risks you have, the more cool hackers, no, not cool, bad word, um, skilled hackers you have trying to get this money out of you.
So I guess in that case, I guess you have to talk a little bit about how the technology behind this balancer works, right? How does that fit into this whole ecosystem? We identified a problem. What's your solution?
Mhm. Okay, so the solution that is the solution that lies in the uh, as a core technology is to distribute the traffic, incoming traffic, into um, the network that filters the traffic and tries to identify which one is from the botnets and which one is from the real users, and to allow only real traffic to get uh, into the product itself. Uh, One of the it lies this product lies a lot with traffic analytic tools, and this is the most complicated thing to be produced. But at the same time, the tools that are going to be used to analyze traffic, they will create a huge database that will open other doors for very um, deep analysis of people who are using um, this or that products. So the upsale of DDoS product, disbalancer product, lies not only in cybersecurity protection, but um, other analytical tools of knowing the customers to the clients.
Right. So you get two things out of it. So the product gets protection, but at the same time you also get you get data to protect people even further.
Exactly.
Got it. And why do you need blockchain for this? Like, why
Look,
blockchain?
look, blockchain is like I don't overestimate the power of blockchain, and in the technology of such kind of that solve such type of products. Blockchain is much more times it's not needed than it's needed, and in this balancer it's actually not needed. There is a need to build a decentralized network for traffic management, but you don't need blockchain to do it. Like the vision um, of why we need a token is because we um, believe that token are and market cap are the um, are basically the substitute of the equity shareholding market cap. We don't believe in in current era crypto projects to be able to raise money in equity, but we do believe that if a successful product is used by hundreds, thousands, and millions of users and clients, then its market cap is extremely successful. So yeah, the token of DDoS is will show the value of the product and the value of clients that use this product, and I am absolutely sure that it will has a big success.
Cool. So I guess, John, how do you usually organize this? Do you want to ask additional questions, or should we ask the audience for questions and answers as well?
Yeah, so I've got one question about HAPI, and then we'll open up the floor to the audience. So regarding HAPI, so in order for this to kind of protect from data for exchanges, so you're saying that if the hack happens, then this information goes to other DEXs and they know. Would the DEXs basically have to approve the integration of HAPI for this to work, or how does the user or the DEX basically have interact with HAPI as far as preventing the funds from spreading?
Okay. All right, sure. Yes, DEXs have to integrate the HAPI code in order to interact with it. There is no other way. Um, from one point of view, you can say it's such a difficult business development task how to make you know uh, people work in crypto space. This is like nowadays is extremely difficult. All these dexes, they made so much money, they don't want to work anymore. But you know, but there is a methodology that we already used uh, when we basically created the market of penetration testing for cryptocurrency exchanges. So the bad security practices have to be public, and if DEX or DeFi project is not using HAPI or any similar tool to protect users from hackers, then public should know about it. And believe me, uh, everybody, when they see that they are losing traffic, they're losing clients, they're losing liquidity because they don't implement security measures, and people complaining about it, they will integrate these tools very quickly. We know it because our one of our projects, crypto exchange ranks.live, cr.live, we went through this um, this path, and we know how to do it right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, right now, like the 1.5 years ago, only 15% of exchanges were doing penetration tests. And if you check the number of hacks of cryptocurrency exchanges like 2 years ago and now the percentage of exchanges that are doing penetration tests is like 60-70%. It's very different. Crypto centralized crypto exchanges are being hacked much rare. Almost no cases in 2021.
That's always a good sign. So we have some questions. John, should we open up the floor for questions and answers?
Sure thing.
All right.
Let's start with Lynn Late Night. They've had their hand up for a while.
All right.
Oh, welcome.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Hey, man.
I just want to thank all you guys, John, Dyma, Michael, Dyma and Michael, again, a few times, the second time being on the stage with you guys. Yeah, my name is Late Night, also Cameron, from the Crypto Church, and I just love hearing it. I've heard this over and over, and just to add on and just correct me, please, Dyma, if I'm wrong. But is it safe to say? Because sometimes with everyday people, like especially in smaller communities, it's like what we like. Even Darian down there, it's my brother. Listening, and what we pride ourselves on is really making the everyday person understand the value in hacking as well as HAPI, as well as disBalancer, which um, comes to encouraging in our community why it's important to have cybersecurity. See, people understand the importance of cybersecurity, but sometimes it's just conceptualizing the need to pull you in to say, like, this is something I have to invest in because of its importance. And is it safe to say, when I do conceptualize, when I do explain this to the common person trying to understand, happy and hacking, I always say that hacking is kind of like, I live in New York City. When you go to a restaurant, they have grades like A, B, C based on how clean and sanitary the restaurant is. It's like an audit that the city does on the restaurant to let the public know that it's okay to eat in this place safely, and that they're following the OSHA rules. And also, is it safe to say that happy, when I explain it, I kind of compare it to, like, you ever seen the old mob movies with the bank robber movies where the robbers would rob the bank and they would have that ink inside of the bag, and the ink would blow up if once you leave the bank. So I like to say that happy is kind of like the ink, the digital ink to stolen, digital assets in the crypto space, where you're going to be tracked and you're not going to be able to spend the money, and the money amongst all exchanges that are in this network can send this information to each other, or will have the information so that the hacker is not able to, move around with the funds. Is that safe to say?
Man, I think this is the best explanation I ever heard. You are a talent. There is no doubt. I'm messaging with Mike right now, and he's also like impressed.
Oh wow,
Look,
thank you guys.
that
Love
yeah.
you guys, but thank
Yeah, the only thing I would like maybe also to compare. So we see that the Hacken will, and like the products that we build, that you compare the Hacken with, can be compared to Michelin restaurants, for example, as well. Like a 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. Um, uh, Places where you can trade, where you can interact your MetaMask. So this also can be a good, comparison. But the ink, oh my god, like super. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys. Thank you again, John, Dima, Michael. The community, we love you guys. You have our full support. We're not going anywhere. We're patient. So thank you again.
Yeah,
Thank.
thanks. Feel free to hang out. We're just gonna kind of go through the Q&A and then open up to just a casual discussion. So anyone in the audience who wants to come up, feel free to raise your hand. Darian, welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Don, John, Dima, Michael. Good seeing you guys again. Um, Dima, my main question, or I guess I have two questions. The first one regarding Happy and the big explosion of NFTs. I've seen it. It's been a phenomenon. Like it's happened out of nowhere. But my question is, how are we going to enforce NFT ownership? And I was wondering if Happy could be a tool used to enforce to make sure that the NFT is from the original owner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a good question, but I think it's this is the problem also. And as I was saying, that we follow the path that teams that join Hacking Foundation are focusing on specific problems, and they are becoming a champions to solve these problems. So the ownership of NFT is the problem that are that is not related to Happy main course of business, but uh, we have one team that approached us with a solution to the problem that you are saying. So right now in Hacking Foundation we have a pretty big number of projects that applied to follow the path of disbalancer and happy, and we are selecting. We are not very in a rush because we want teams to be very well prepared, and there is one team that wants to solve this problem, and they gave us an amazing solution. Just I don't want to disclose all the cards regarding this now.
Awesome, awesome. Appreciate that that type of technology is even being thought about because I think that's going to be pretty revolutionary. My other question was regarding just hacking and the audits. Let's say a centralized or decentralized protocol got an audit done January 1st, 2021. How often would you recommend that that same company gets another checkup to ensure the ongoing security of that audit? Because I know cybersecurity evolves with time.
Yeah, sure. First of all, it should go under a security audit every time the code is changed. Every time there is a new line, there should be a cooperation. There should be an auditor audit check. Second, I want to say that the teams should perform two independent audits from separate teams as well. So one audit is not enough, right? At the current market condition. And if we are talking about audit, the code that is not changed, I still recommend to for the team to do an audit at least twice a year.
Appreciate that, Dime. That's all I have, Demon. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you so much, man. Very nice to hear you.
I think the situation with uranium was exactly the same. Like they got the audits probably for version 2.0, and then 2.1 came out, right? They changed a few lines of code. It shouldn't be too much of a big deal. Bam, $50 million gone, right? That's just disgusting.
Yeah. Welcome, Angela. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so this is a general cybersecurity question that somebody in the box mining community asked me to forward to you. So if say a scammer stole your funds and you know their wallet address, is there any way to find out more information about them? Like say their IP address, or find any way to track down and get your funds back?
The chances are pretty low, so the attacker has to make a mistake. The chances that he will make a mistake are very very low. Uh, you might find associated IP addresses with this wallet, but to be honest, it doesn't give a lot of information to you, and for sure, it doesn't give you, an action plan how to get this guy. You can try to find uh, a path by doing a forensic investigation on this IP address. But again, the person has to be really stupid if he is hacking someone's wallet and not using VPN. I really don't believe such black hat hackers exist. So, like as I'm saying, the chances are very low. The guy has to make a serious mistake, and I would say it's like 0.0.1% that this guy can be caught.
All right, thank you for that. Thanks, Dima.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. And I guess if anyone else in the audience has any questions, feel free to raise your hands. To kind of follow up on that, though, I think on the OTC side of things, I do remember seeing a hack where not even necessarily a hack, more or less like a scam, to where they moved it to, they didn't shuffle the wallets around enough to where it went to a central exchange or multiple central exchanges, and they managed to kind of show proof of like fraud to the central exchanges, and they froze their accounts and then remunerated part of the funds. I think like 30 or 40%, but at least it was something.
Yeah, and right now there is no enough communication between centralized exchanges. If something happens, uh, there is like only one Telegram group where exchanges are submitting the wallets that are associated with a hack or scam, and usually um, these wallets usually this group is is quite slow in terms of that's all the exchanges get some action to block the funds, and in most of the cases the exchanges are not blocking the funds. They are asking for a police report, and by the time a victim can get a police report, usually the attacker already made the trades and withdraw the money, and exchange cannot help in anyhow to compensate those the victim his loss.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just want to comment here, like, it's just such a shame to see, so many hackers and scammers in this space. I mean, it's unfortunate that there are people like this doing this. I mean, in the most optimal world, we wouldn't have all these scammers. Like, if everyone believed in the vision and everyone just did good, then I think there's plenty of money to be made. But there are people who just want to steal $50 million and call it a night. Like, that's the sad part. And I feel like it's a situation where this industry is growing so fast, a lot of people don't pay attention to this. I think I'm really appreciative of Darian and Late Night here. They're explaining this to people, because like it really only gets you until it's too late. Like, a lot of times you don't think about protection until you got completely screwed over. But when you get completely screwed over, then you'll be like, okay, how do I fix this? And there's no solution other than protection, right? It's like there's nothing that people can do after the fact, right? They've already been robbed. How can you get the money back too late? So you got to educate people early to never get robbed in the first place. So I think that's just the kind of stupid part about crypto.
Yeah, we are thinking to do the educational cartoons, and Late Night, if you have other ideas of comparison, like, I would be very happy to hear more, and maybe we can cooperate in this direction.
Absolutely, I would love that. That would, yeah, because again, it's just about what I do, and is just explaining and conceptualizing where it makes sense, where you see the value. So that's the biggest bridge with me, and just explaining to the community, because just it's a need. So once we have like nice analogies where people can say, "Oh, I understand now." Now they're looking like, okay, I have to, there's value there, because in the real world, these this exists, these audits and things of that nature. So it has to be in this new internet of money, in this world of, so it's very important. And I believe, just like Michael said, I googled how many. I didn't know anything about distributed denial of services until being in the hacking community. And when I googled it, I was like, wow, there were last year 10 million DDoS attacks, and it just took me down the rabbit hole. So again, yeah, I would love that, man. And anything that we can do to support, we're 100% there.
Thank you.
Nice. I guess if you guys have any other questions, please do raise your hand. I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. I think a lot of people, I think, can definitely share some experiences, and yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a somber topic, because I think everyone's one way or another kind of dealt with this, especially the last 2 seasons, whether it's being like rugged or being in a token that got exploited.
It's kind of sad. I'm almost numb to this now. Like like people talk about it. I'm like, I'm so
It's a numbers game. It's like, all right, it was bound to happen. It's a
yeah.
horrible mentality to have.
It's a horror. It's like, this should not be the case. Like, honestly, like, as decentralized finance is establishing, getting legitimacy, right, as a true disruptor to traditional finance, like we need to get away from, every week we just have a hack for $50 million. It's gonna get. I mean, like this, like if you told anyone outside, this happens on a common day-to-day basis, right? Like, like people would think we're crazy to be in this space, but it's just like if you're in the neighborhood and like half the people got murdered every week, and you're like, oh, I'm okay with it. That's the situation we're living in right now, right? It's so stupid.
But I mean, I think it's also like there's this sense of like people FOMOing so hard. Like you could name a token called like, you know, Rug Moon or something like that, and people people would, oh yeah, I'll buy this.
Yeah, we're in such a stupid phase, but it really does make this whole space look bad. I think like, no one likes losing money, and I had people in my community lose money before. There'll be like, there'll be veterans too, right? There'll be veterans in crypto, but they just like they're trying to audit code themselves, and then what happens is that there's like one line of code that they didn't look at. Like there's these stupid situations before where like projects that are malicious intentionally change a O to a zero because it looks so similar, right? These two letters look so similar on the keyboard, right? Like when someone's like scanning and auditing through it, like a lot of times we do our own manual checks, right? Like people who know how to code, they do their manual checks, and the malicious coders, right? The malicious creators, project creators, they'll replace a zero with an O or a O with a zero. It'll look exactly the same when you're just looking for it very quickly. And then what happens is that because there's that tiny change, right, that one letter change, they're allowed to completely exploit the contract and just steal everyone's money. Like this is so ridiculous, and there needs to be a better way for us to audit everything to make sure it's clean and clear. But I've seen horror stories where people just lose like $400,000 to this stuff. It's stupid, like, and it needs to stop. Like honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this brings up like an interesting philosophical conversation though about, there does need to be a degree of accountability. There does need to be a degree of like kind of policing, but if we go too much in the direction of like, regulating the space, then it just becomes like, the same thing as what we've seen before in the traditional financial system, and the roots of Bitcoin are in the
Yeah.
recoil of the 2008 collapse, right? So I mean, it's where do you draw that line? What is the right approach? I mean,
Correct. I think so too. I guess should we wrap up the session then, John?
yeah, sure thing. So if anyone else in the audience has a question, feel free to raise your hand now. Otherwise, thank you, team. Oh, looks like someone wants to ask a question. But yeah, thanks, Dima. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate you guys joining. Late night, Darian, thanks for your contributions.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate you guys. You know,
We got Crypto Graham. You want to ask a question, Crypto Graham?
Yeah, just real quick before you guys close out. One of the big issues that's happening right now is a lot of people are dealing with these sniper bots, like you were talking about, Dima.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think could be done to prevent that? Is there any strategy that can be put in place on the chain that would maybe, if you see that there's a specific account that's sending a purchase request every, millisecond, you can easily identify that's not human, right? Is there any way to do that on chain?
That's a good one. So it is responsibility of the project founders to protect. The protection lies in the first hours of the smart contract burst deploy and the first hours of trading at Uniswap. There are patterns how the sniper bots works, and yeah, you have to there is already solutions on the market how to um, even pre-mine the behavior of the token trading the first hours. So yeah, if you know the patterns, if you know how to pre-mine, you have to do this protection. This is, right now, this is a game who is smarter. So right now, if you don't know that such solutions exist, then sniper bots are smarter than you, and then you probably will lose your money, and your community will lose confidence in you. So what I'm saying is that there is solution. If you are a founder of projects and you want to learn more, pin me in Telegram. I'll be happy to share this information. This information, what I want to say is that this information, how to be protected, it costs money. Sorry, but we are a company at the first place.
All right, thanks, man.
So Dyma will help you. Damn.
Thanks again, Dyma. Thanks again, Michael, and all the other guys who came up to speak. Yeah, we do these once a week. Genesis Block is the hosting clubhouse. Feel free to follow us. Otherwise, have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Mike. Late night, Darian, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Have a good one. Everybody have a good one.
Everybody have a good one for sure.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Darian. Thank you, Late Night. Thank you, John. Thank you, Angela. Thank you.